Hello friends, welcome to Do Better Tomorrow. This is Ishak. You are watching English grammar video series and this is a part 2 on verbs and helping verbs. If you haven't seen part 1 on verbs and helping verbs, please do watch that video because this video is a continuation of that video. Yes, let's have a quick revision of part 1 and then we'll start the continuation of those slides. What is that we have seen in part 1 is to write negation of any statement or to write a question form, right? For writing a negation or to write a question form, we require helping verbs. Yes, that is what we have already seen. If you haven't seen, please do watch that video. And then the next thing what we have seen is, so to write a negation or question form of a sentence in simple present and simple past, we introduce helping verbs. Yes, in simple present and simple past we introduce, very important, because in all other tenses except simple present and simple past we do have helping verbs, right? In these two tenses we don't have helping verbs, so we introduce helping verbs called do forms. What are those do forms? Do, does and did. Already we have discussed, that is do, does and did. And then what we have seen is when to use do, does and when to use did, right? When the subject is singular, in present tense we use does. When the subject is plural, in present tense we use do. Then what is the subject? The doer of the action. This is all about verbs, right? Verb is nothing but action. So that particular action being performed by whom? Who is doing that, right? That is a subject, right? So that subject, if it is a singular one, if one person is doing that, in present tense it should be does. If more than one person, which is a plural, then we should use do. And then for first person singular and for second person, what we use always is do, right? And then for both plural and singular subjects, in past tense we use did. Yes, we have already seen this. And then the next thing what we have to see is, right, take a simple verb called eat, and its three forms is eat or eats, ate, eaten, v1 and v2. First of all, let's see about present tense and past tense, right? v1 v2 forms, that is eat or eats or ate. v2 is ate, past tense verb is ate, right? That verb eat or eats contains do and eat inside it. Let's say like that, right? It doesn't contain inside it, which means that eat has do plus eat in it. Similarly, let's say eats has does and eat in it. Are you following it? Eats has does and eat inside it. And similarly, let's say ate has did and eat inside it. Is it clear? Right? We are trying to give a view of that. So in eat we have a helping verb do and eaten it. Similarly, eats has does and eat. Ate has did and eat. Right? Is it clear? And then we'll go to our verb, which is explain, right? Explain, explains is v1 and explained is v2. These two are our v1 and explained is v2. So in explain it has do plus explain, and explains has does plus explain. Explained has did plus explain. Is it clear? Yes. And then the one thing what we have to notice here is the main verbs. Other than helping verbs, the main verbs are common in all the three: eat, eat and eat. You are not again writing eats or ate or eaten something, right? Even in explain, do plus explain, does plus explain, did plus explain. The main verb what we are writing is common here. Yes, that is the most important thing. In last video while discussing one example, we have said that explains has come, even that is wrong, and we said that we'll be discussing that in coming video. That is what about here, right? So the common thing here is explain, which is a base verb, right? So with do forms, do, does or did, we always use the base form of the verb. Again we cannot use explains. Again we cannot use did explained. Right? I did not ate is wrong thing. Whenever we use the did, again I cannot use ate. I did not eat. She did not explained. No, she did not explain. So whenever we use do forms, we have to use the base form of the verb, and again the other forms of verbs cannot be used. Is it clear? Let's go to the next slide. Right, these are the examples what we have seen in the previous video. My teacher explains it well is a positive statement. For that we tried to write the negative statement. My teacher not explains it well. That is a wrong statement. Simply I cannot place not after that. So what we do is we require helping verbs to place that not. So we are introducing that does here. My teacher does not explain it well. See, observe this. Again we did not write something like explained or explains. Simply my teacher does not explain it well, which is a correct statement. Right? To write that negation we require a helping verb and we introduced does here. Is that clear? Then in simple past tense, my teacher explained it well, which is a positive statement. For that we tried writing a negative statement. My teacher not explained it well. No, it is wrong. So simply I cannot place not after that. So what we need is a helping verb and we introduce did here. So my teacher did not explain, again very important thing. Again explained cannot come. My teacher did not explain it well, which is a correct statement. Are you clear with this? Yes. So let's have a quick revision of all the things what we have used in do forms. Do forms are used to write a question form, a negation, right? So for this question form, to make a question form of the most main verbs, we use do, does in present tense and did in simple past tense, followed by the subject and the main verb. And here this is a very important thing, right? Do, does we know in present tense and did in past tense we know, and followed by the subject, which means in question forms we write helping verbs before the subject. What is our subject here? Subject is nothing but the doer of the action. Here who is doing this playing football action? See, play is our verb. Who is playing that football? This, you. So that is our subject, and before the subject itself there should be that do form. Right? Did your mother? Before our subject, a helping verb did is used here. Did your mother come from the same place as your father? Is it clear? So I would like to repeat this again. To make the question form of most main verbs, we use do, does in present tense and did in simple past, followed by the subject and then the main verb. Right? Is it clear? Then the next thing. For negative form, to write a negation, we know that we are going to write that not after the do forms. Do, does, did in simple present and simple past. Right? Do, does in present tense and after that not. In past tense did and then not. Is it clear? Then let's see some examples. I don't want to wait for a bus. Let's get a taxi. Right? In question form what we have seen is those helping verbs are written before the subject. In negation no need of that. After subject, simply to write that not we require a helping verb and we are placing that do and not. Do not, simply we call that as don't. Jack does not live. See, here I wrote do and here I wrote does. What is the difference is this first person singular, we told that always it takes do, right? But Jack here is a singular subject who is living, right? That is a subject verb and that verb is being done by subject Jack, which is a singular one. So as Jack is singular, we are using does. Clear? Yes, even here the Prime Minister does not. Why didn't we use do not? Because the Prime Minister is a singular one, right? So we are going to use a singular verb, that is does. Is it clear? Then the next thing is the emphatic forms, which means that, see, while stressing, something to do, like I like this video, and then we'll say I do like this video. And in the beginning of this video what I mentioned is please do watch our previous video, because this is a continuation of that video, right? When I say that please do watch, it is like we are stressing something, we are giving some importance on that, right? That is what is emphatic forms. We use do, does in present tense and did in past tense to give extra force to the main verb, right? We use the infinitive of the main verb without to and stress while speaking. When you see the examples you'll understand it better, right? To stress something we also use do forms. Let's see that. See, I like your new jacket is a neutral thing, but when we stress that I do like your new jacket, she looks so tired is a neutral comment, but she does look so tired, we are stressing that more, like we are giving some importance to that, we are stressing that. I did not recognize your dad, but I recognized your mom, right? When we give some importance or when we stress that I did not recognize your dad, but I did recognize your mom. Is it clear? I did recognize, and again I did recognized cannot come. Be clear with it. Whenever we use those do forms, the base form of verb should be there. Again I cannot write recognized. Is that clear? Then there is exercise here for you to do or does, to just fill these blanks, right? So pause the video and just try to do these, and then still if you have a doubt, then go back, then watch the video again, then try to answer these, right? Please pause the video and try to answer all these questions. Yes, then we'll try to answer these questions. Where dash your brother work, right? So here we require some helping verb for sure, because this is a question form, right? So what is that helping verb we require? Either do, does or did. So here whether we should use simple present tense or simple past tense is secondary, because when to use which tense is secondary. What we are trying to do is in simple present which helping verb should we use, right? Because it is not mentioned like last year where did your brother work, like this they did not mention anything. So simply we use do or does exercise, right? So simply we'll place either it should be do or does. So now what we require is either it should be do or does in that blank, that's all, very simple, right? So where do your brother work or where does your brother work, this is what should be there, as simple as that, right? So what should be there here? We write do or does according to our subject. So what is our subject here? The doer of the action. That action here is that work. So who is working there? Our brother, which is a singular one. So for that singular subject what we are trying to write is does. Where does your brother work? Is it clear? Yes. Then next question, how many times a week dash he go, right? Then what should we take as our subject here, right? Again the same thing. What is our main verb here? Go, right? Then who is going there? He is a singular one. So as that is singular, so what we write here is does. Clear? Then what should be the next one? Why dash their result seem so bad, right? Then here there will be a confusion like their result, their which means a plural one, result is a singular one. What is our subject then? Should we take do or does, right? This will be a confusion for you. Then what should we do is try to write again their result. See, there is a modification of that result. Result is our noun there, right? We are talking about the result but not about their, right? There is just a modification, and their result we are talking about. So that result is a singular noun. Their results, if I had mentioned, then it would have been something else. Here it is mentioned like their result, which is a singular one. So what we use is does. Clear? See, these are the answers for those. Just check with these and still if you have a doubt, you have to again be strong with your basic what we have taught in this video and the previous video, right? Still if you are not sure, please do comment in the comment section, right? Then just try to do this in simple present tense. I dash enjoy listening to music. Write the negation. I do not or I does not. As we told that I, first person singular, always takes a plural verb which is do, right? So I do not enjoy listening to music. In simple past, there is no question of singular and plural in simple past because only we have did. So I did not enjoy listening to music the last night or something. That we'll be discussing again in tenses, right? What is this? How to use do forms. The negation, I did not see you at the concert the other night. The question form, do they open? As we told that helping verb should be used before the subject. So do they open at 9 o'clock on weekdays? The emphatic form, he does look smart in his new suit, right? Is it clear? Yes. The next slide. Then we know how to use and also just be sure how not to use it, right? We do not use auxiliary do to make questions or negatives for clauses with modal verbs, right? For clauses with modal verbs, which means in any future tense, again we will not use do, right? Let's see the example. Will you be here in time for lunch? Right? But I cannot write do you will. So again the do and will cannot come together. You already know this, but be sure of this, that's all. I can't swim very well, but again I cannot use I don't can swim. The do form and can models cannot come together, right? And then the next thing what we cannot do is we use auxiliary do, not auxiliary be, for questions with main verbs in simple present, right? In simple present we always use do forms, do or does, but not again be forms. Be sure with it. Do you live in an apartment? Right? Which is a correct one, but we cannot write are you live in. No, we can never write be forms like is, am, are, was, were in our simple present tense or simple past tense, right? The next thing what we cannot do is we use does, not do, for the third person in the present tense, right? Does your sister, we already know this, your sister is a third person which is a singular form, so singular we use does. Do your sister we never use. Singular what we have to use is does. Then if it is do your sisters, then also it is correct, right? For third person plural we use do, right? Is that clear? So this is what is part 2 of our verbs and helping verbs. So what we have seen is main verb, helping verb, modal auxiliary verbs. We haven't seen modal auxiliary verbs. In helping verbs, again there is a classification like be forms, do forms and have forms. In modal auxiliary verbs, that is a separate classification. Even in helping verbs, what we have seen is only do forms till now. If you're sure with this, then we'll do again something like have forms and be forms. Yes, watch this video again if you have some doubt. Still, after watching again, if you have doubt, please do comment in the comment section. Please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.